Hello guys, today I'm going to go over educational inequality as is applied through sociological conflict theory. So first things first, educational inequality is defined as an unequal distribution of academic resources. It can be seen in the disparate funding schools receive, underqualified teachers, and need for technological resources. Through the application of conflict theory, education is perceived as a basis used to uphold inequalities resulting from differences in social class, gender, and race. Essentially, conflict theory serves to explain why certain individuals, such as those with better socioeconomic positions, have a greater advantage over those who come from low socioeconomic means. So, social class plays a huge factor in educational inequality. For the lower one's socioeconomic status is, the more disadvantages they face. As seen in Figure 1, public schools are reliant on federal, state, and local fundings. After studying the graph, one can view the vast distinctions in funding received as well as the reliance public schools have on local and state funds. Those with less funds are bound to have less resources when compared to those who have more than tripled the amount of funding available. Essentially, students of low socioeconomic status are not being afforded the same resources and opportunities that students of higher status hold regardless of their good grades or their desire to better themselves. They are at a disadvantage because they lack the proper resources needed to keep up with the schooling system in today's modern society. Today, students are in need of digital resources that can be expensive to low-income families such as tablets, laptops, printers, and even cell phones. Not everyone can afford to buy these much-needed products. Not having access to such resources is detrimental to low-income students for they are subject to experience a digital divide, which in turn influences the amount of knowledge one gains. A knowledge gap results from a digital divide, hence there is a clear inequality in the quality of education afforded to students. Students with higher socioeconomic status are more prone to succeed when furthering their educational level, for they will know how to navigate technology easier compared to their peers who have little exposure. As a result, we can see how schools play a role in priming those of low socioeconomic status to accept their positions in society as lower members. Additional factors affecting the educational quality are gender and race. For instance, there are erroneous stereotypes around gender stating that women are less abled than men in areas concerning math and science. Such beliefs may generate self-doubt and lower the expectations individuals have for themselves. Additionally, the factor of gender also impacts the educational inequality for certain roles assigned to gender. In most cultures, women are automatically assigned household chores, which may impact their performance. The daily tasks and homework may become too much to handle interchangeably, thus causing role strain. As a result, one is subject to not reviewing the necessary coursework, which leads to negative performance, since the comprehension of the material is not met. The same negative stereotypes apply in race, for some people believe that minority groups such as blacks care less about schooling. Such detrimental views hinder students, for teachers may focus more on other groups they believe have a higher success rate, such as white students. So how does this affect our community? So as we just reviewed, this impacts our community by creating a knowledge gap due to the distinctions among funds provided to school. The occupation one wishes to pursue is also affected, for as a result, we see more males pursuing occupations in STEM fields of study. Another way it impacts us is racial biases affect the level of achievement of minority students such as blacks. And lastly, social and economic mobility is stunted, for some people are essentially being prepped to become lower members of society. Some possible solutions include affirmative action, for it would serve to provide additional opportunities to minorities who are routinely discriminated against. After its discontinuing in 1996, Texas A&M and the University of Texas reported a drop in minority students' attendance. Another option would be to provide an equal distribution of fundings to public schools rather than relying predominantly on state and local funds. Resources should be equally allotted on a student count ratio. Lastly, we should do away with negative stereotypes based on gender and race. Such biases are harmful to society and should be discontinued. Well, lastly, that concludes my presentation. So thank you for listening.